Yes, Savage Brushstroke. I'm Precious Gorgeous Ralph, and this is Chocolate Brown. Your name on Facebook is Kazad
Kaze Kage.
Kazekage. What is that? Is
That
that
is,
chocolate?
it's a no, it's a Naruto thing, so it's an anime thing. So Kaze Kage is kind of like a master, like the main sort of like a president almost.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I mean, I wanted to. I'm such a big fan of names, and I think when I first heard of you, I was just so jealous. I was like, "Fuck, that is such a good name." Where did that name come from?
Ooh. So there's one time in band camp. Actually, no, it was band class. I was chilling with my homegirl Jackie, and we both played the trumpet. And
Hmm.
she looked different that day. I was like, "What did you do? Like, did you like change your hair? Was that like eggplant or something?" She was like, "Nah, it's chocolate brown." And then she was like, "We should totally start calling you that." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here," because it was some white chick, and I was like, "You're not gonna be chocolate brown." And then
All right, all right.
it kind of just stuck. Um, and I kind of just used it to my advantage. I realized how good of a name it actually is, and how
Such a good
you
name,
can't really
dude.
forget that name at all. Like if you hear
No.
it, you instantly just like, who was that? What can they do? And then I try to
Yes,
show them proof.
man.
You know?
It's such a beautiful name because like the one thing I think about like that is sort of like is my lodestone these days is I felt like I was missing or where I was fucking up was like I was doing things that like I wasn't living up to. Like I feel like I have a special name, right? And
Yeah,
I
your name
wasn't.
is dope.
Yeah, I love my name, and like I waited a long. Like I had such whack names before, bro. Before I was Precious Gorgeous, I was Esquire the Great, which is like I was
No,
trying to find that name, but like it wasn't Precious Gorgeous. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
I
I wish I
feel
could just call myself Prince because that's who I love, but I can't. You know what I mean? So
you.
so
Prince.
so I had this name, but I was yeah, but I was like Young Nemo and all these whack ass names. You know,
Young Nemo's funny as hell, bro. I
it's
like
it's
that.
such a lame name, and I want to do an album
Oh
called "The
shit.
Cheese Stands Alone," which my friends still laugh at me about. You know,
Uh,
and but like yeah, that's Chocolate Brown is a name like that where it's like. I think titles and names are so important, and it's a lodestone because like if you ever get lost, you just know what lives up to this name, and you know what you need to do.
right.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Like I take my name like when I first had it, I was just like, what is chocolate brown? And like I kind of just looked into a bunch of black exploitation films. And I was just like, that just, fits me exactly. So then I started growing my hair. I wanted like an afro or whatever, and then eventually it just formed into something crazy. I used to be just straight up a rapper. I was just a rapper. Like I never like sang out loud. I only started singing maybe like 2 years ago. So
wow,
like once I started
what?
incorporating that into it, it started all work. It started all meshing. It's kind of like the Willy Wonka special recipe. You feel me? I was just like, all right, now I'm fucking chocolate brown. Not only am I like dope, but I'm like soft and sultry and sweet, and like
Ooh, bro, that's
you
amazing, bro. Yo, this is like a samurai story, bro.
exactly. It's like the best of both worlds. It's kind of
Ah,
like I used to think of myself as like, all right, so what if I was just like when I remember I saw Black Dynamite, and that was like one of my favorite movies of all time.
yes. Oh, so good. But Black
Oh,
Dynamite, I traffic drug through the community.
I saw Judge in the Community.
Such a good
Oh
movie.
man,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
like when I saw that, I was like, that's chocolate brown. I gotta be something along those lines. Maybe not as hard as like I'm gonna kick your ass, sucker, but like I have to have that kind of like, like kind of like what Wiz Khalifa was on Cushion Orange Juice. You feel me? Like, dang, man. Oh,
Oh,
like I use a lot of old terms. I've always done that when I was just like groovy or some shit like that. But like I kind of just I don't know, kind of just melded into this whatever the fuck it is, just sort of amalgamation of different shit that I've experienced in my life. Like I used to be a trumpet player, and then I was a rapper, and I was a singer, and I'm rapper and singer. Now I just got to figure out how to bring my trumpet into it. You know, I haven't practiced, but
I heard Mystical say once, and like Mystical is, I mean, I know he did some fucked up shit. I think he went to jail, but like, but he said something I'll never forget. He said, I grew up in New Orleans, like, and everybody in New Orleans plays an instrument. And he said, I grew up playing the trumpet. And so when I write my raps, I'm just doing trumpet solos.
Oh yeah, pretty much. It's like sort of like scatting. That's exactly how I get my rhythm or my rhythmic base of like what I want to do on songs or some shit. So if I can't think of like words exactly, I'll think of like a rhythm and I'll just be like skibidi dup dup or whatever, just say random whatever the fucks, you know, and figure that out and then figure out the right words with the right syllables and shit to put in. Yeah, and it's just doing that constantly in my brain without even thinking about it. Like I've always done that in my head, but I've never had anything to apply it to really other than music. You know, once I started doing music, it was just like, okay, now I have these different like rhythmic forms that nobody else is really doing or is thought of, and I can just do it myself. Now I have an outlet to let that be known, to shine and shit. So like I have different like, you know, every person, not every person, but like the good artists always have this little like lick that they do that just like kind of just everybody knows that it's them from doing that certain way. And I have certain things here and there that I do, but I still have to find that one lick that's just like, that's Chocolate Brown because he's doing that.
Wow. I resonate so much with what you said about when you saw Black Dynamite. I have 3 of those in my life. Where in movies where I saw that and I was like, I always describe it like you always loved ice cream your whole life, but you never had a favorite flavor. And then you had ice cream once and you're like, that's my favorite flavor.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, it was when I was 5, I saw the 1989 Batman. And like, I was like,
Joker.
Yes. And I was like, that's what I am. Especially the scene where he takes what's her name? Vicky Vale. He takes Vicky Vale to the Batcave and she's like, where are we going? And he doesn't answer her.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, I'm that guy. I'm like that guy. And then when I was like 19 or 17, I ignored him my whole life up until then. But when I was about 17 or 19, I saw Purple Rain. And I didn't know what Prince was. Like I always heard, but I was like, is he gay? Is he? I don't know. It's over there. I didn't want to get close to it. And then I saw Purple Rain and I was like, oh, that's what I am. That's what I am. Right. And that sort of set me on a whole trajectory. And then just 2 years ago, my friend went to see Won't You Be My Neighbor, the documentary about Mr. Rogers.
That's on HBO Go right now. I was thinking about watching that today.
Bro, I saw that documentary. First of all, I cried for 24 hours. I cried through the whole movie and I cried for a whole day after. But then when I watched that, I was like, oh, that's what I am. That's what I am now. That's what I'm supposed to be like. Because I always kind of looked at Precious Gorgeous. I was like, is he supposed to be sexy? Is he an imp? What is he? And then I realized, I remembered something that I kind of knew in the back of my head, but I was like, oh, this is the reason my name is Precious Gorgeous is not because I'm Precious Gorgeous. It's because my name is that because I'm supposed to remind you that that's what you are.
Right.
And Mr. Rogers helped me see that. I was like, oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. So like, yeah, that's what this little interview series I'm doing is about. Like, and I wonder if we can, like, you already explained it. Do you have another one of those moments in your life, like the Black Dynamite? Or we can just talk more about Black Dynamite. That's up to you. But like another one of those moments where you're like,
I've had a few moments where I'm just like, so I recently just saw the Dolomite movies, the Eddie Murphy. And before I saw that movie, I had already seen Dolomite. I was already up on it before.
I've still never seen that stuff. I didn't come up on that stuff.
I've seen it. Like I grew up watching films. Like I'm a philophile, so like my mom used to show me black and whites all the time. It's all we used to watch back in the day when I was a kid. So like I appreciate it all. I just appreciate film. So watching Dolomite, I was just like, yo, this dude is like almost the first rapper. When I first saw that old film, I was like, He stopped in the middle of the street. They literally had a scythe of different people, and he's there just rapping and shit. He's like, "Yo, like this shit," and I was just like, "Yo, like this is like I have to be this guy," like in a way, like he was just like such a like. It was so ridiculous that this black man in the 1970s could get away with the type of shit he was doing, bro. It was so like it just, to me, it felt like ahead of its time. Like it's super misogynistic, of course. He knew that shit. But like I'm just like I probably wouldn't be that misogynistic, but at the same time, like I have to have that attitude where it's just like, yeah, my name is Chocolate Brown, but I'm the fucking shit. His name is Dolomite. You feel me? Like it's just like I'm the fucking shit. Like it's just there's a difference, of like having a name and like owning a name. So like that really, like I was just like, after I saw Dolomite, I was like, all right, I'm growing my hair, I'm getting a fro, I'm gonna start. Like I used to like dress in like ties and shit sometimes. I don't do that anymore. But now it's more, I'm more just a hoodie kimono guy. I'm just chilling. But like yeah, like the watching that just like totally just like I was in high school when I saw that. I was probably like 16 or 17. So it changed, like it just changed my whole perspective on shit.
There's such a power in that. Like there's a thing I love about Dolomite that Eddie really perfectly embodied too and really championed. It's like it's this thing I see in Richard Pryor most of all, which is comedians have this, black comedians specifically have this thing where they can be the clown and still be the coolest guy in the room.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's one thing to be the coolest guy in the room and be funny, like a Matthew McConaughey or something, but to be, you're utterly the clown, but you're also still the coolest guy in the room. That is a special. That's like you're wielding comedy and it's not even, it's like it's self-deprecation, but it's also kind of not. It's like some only black folk can really wield in like that in that kind of way.
Have like it's the power, bro. It's just a natural ability that you got, and like is like or you got it or you ain't, as Mel Brooks said on Curvy. I'm just like, I don't know.
Some Jewish dudes have it too. White dudes don't necessarily have it that much, but like Jerry, the dude that died,
Jerry Seinfeld can be a clown, but also just like
he's the man. He's Sinatra.
That thing he did with Kesha when she wanted to hug him, and he was like, "No," like that was some clown shit, but also some boss shit at the same time. It's like, wow, like I don't know.
Yeah, Mel Brooks has that. Gene has that shit where it's like, I'm a goofy, but I'm in charge though.
Exactly.
You know. And that's a special, but yeah, Dolomite has that. Such a special, that's a gene that you have. I feel like you have this thing where there's an inherent sense of humor to your work, but nobody's going to clown you. You know what I mean? No. It's like, this is my joke to make. This is not for you, and I'm going to steal your girl.
Exactly. It's an 8 Mile movie, you feel me? Like, you making fun of yourself without making fun of yourself. But, like, yeah, I know my name is Chocolate Brown, but I own that shit. There's nothing you can possibly say that I haven't already heard, and that's going to affect me from doing what I do best, You can say whatever you want. This nigga's name is Chocolate Brown, but once I get on stage, like, this nigga's name is Chocolate Brown.
There's something so. I mean, Biggie had that. That was what Biggie was. Yeah. Yeah, I never even thought about that. It was just inherent. There's a joke in his name. There's a joke in both of his names. The Notorious B.I.G. Damn, bro.
It's just like there's this like just a self-awareness you have.
And that gives you so much power.
I know I stand out because Biggie already stands out. He's just like 6'5", 300 plus pounds. So he's gonna stand out. So you need something else to kind of like, you can't just be like coming out like he's big as fuck. My name is Big Zero or some shit like that. You gotta have like something like, yeah, I got it. Like he was a clown ass nigga. Like he knew what he was doing. Like,
damn, bro, that's so powerful. I wonder that I don't even know how to describe it. Like that's one of the things that's always fascinated me about Richard Pryor, like to me, somebody the other day on Twitter was trying to be like, "Yo, Harlem Nights is the best comedy." Blah blah.
It's one of them. It's definitely a funny ass
It's
movie,
a
bro.
funny ass
And
movie.
it
I don't
did
know if it.
terrible when it first came out. Nobody went to see that movie.
Nobody went to see it. I don't know if it's my favorite Eddie Murphy movie. I would say it's
Definitely
far
not
from that.
my favorite, but it's fucking hilarious. It's a good movie.
But the thing I love, especially about that movie, is that, and you don't even question it, Richard Pryor is playing the George Clooney role.
Yeah, cool as fuck.
Cool as like, and you don't even question it. Richard Pryor had that power where he could have played Danny Ocean in Ocean's 11. You know what I mean? He could have played he could have played Bernie Mac's part, but he also could play Danny Ocean. And I don't even know that Bernie could probably do it. Bernie could probably do it.
Of Danny Ocean.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Bernie was a powerful dude, but there's something about Richard where he
Richard just has to, like, he has some kind of class, like, class to him that Bernie didn't really have, like a certain pinky up.
Yes. Bernie, yeah. And I think Bernie was a formidable dude, but definitely. But like, yeah, Richard just had. When I watched that, I'm just like, the way his eyes seemed to glow, like the way he was so still, and the way when Danny Aiello was trying to fuck with him, and he was like, okay,
yeah, like I've heard all this shit before, bro. There's nothing you can say. I'm a gangster too, bro. Like, there's nothing you can say that can, like, because I know you need me. There's nothing that you can, you pushing, like you're pushing up on me because I'm making all the money. And you're not making that. You tight. You know, I like that.
You remind me of, like, because, like, again, I didn't grow up on that stuff, and I grew up in a sort of like, I'm late in understanding soul for what it is. Like, let me and the dynamics of it and how deep it resonates. Like, I'll put it this way, like, I used to, when I was in college, my shit was hip hop and indie rock. So I didn't, I like, indie rock to me was like, okay, this is where I'm like really getting deep into like kind of the nerdiness of music and the depth of music, and I can apply this to hip hop. That's what the formula was for me when I was in college. And then right when I got out of college, like really that first year, something happened. I was like going through, I still have only gone through like maybe 10% of it, but I had the Rolling Stone 500 greatest albums of all time.
Oh wow.
And so I would just listen to as many of them as I could. And I was always like neo soul. Somehow it always like the coffee shop, like smooth. I was always like, ugh. It just bothered me. I just like, it just seemed.
That's how I feel about smooth jazz. Like,
yeah,
I can't stand it, bro.
Right. It just seemed contrived. So I always stayed away from it. But then on that list was D'Angelo's Voodoo. And I was like, all right, like, okay, I get, like, I had avoided all that stuff. And I listened to that album once and I was like, oh, okay. And I listened to it again. And bro, it was like I took acid for the first time. I was like, oh shit. Yeah. I get everything. Then Al Green, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Nina.
Green is
it just opened. It opened Erykah Badu. It just opened jazz. It opened jazz in itself for me. And I just did it. And then slowly I started to lose, like I still go back and check it, but I started to lose interest for indie rock because I saw that we were already, that's what I mean by soul. We was already doing all that shit. And I didn't see it. It looked too simple to me, or it's too familiar or something. I didn't get it. And that album really unlocked, like, it was like a Rosetta Stone. It unlocked everything else for me.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to be like exposed to that really early in my life. Like, I come from musical parents. Like, my mom is a singer, my dad is a saxophone player. So like, staying with my mom, they're not together, but like being with my mom, she's constantly playing. Like, I remember when I was a kid, she used to play like classical music for me to fall asleep to. She used to play just a plethora of different genres of music, and I was just like, I never realized how much it affected me until like I started actually playing music. And she was playing Maxwell, she was playing Andy Stone, she was playing Lauryn Hill, she was playing Erica, all that stuff. And my dad's over here, he's playing Miles, he's playing Coltrane, he's putting me on so much shit. And I'm going to his rehearsals and watching him do what he does and watching a band actually communicate and like looking at that shit. And I never really, I kind of took it for granted as a child just being there. Sometimes I would feel like, oh, I'm just bored. I'll probably be in a rehearsal.
Right.
But like you intake a lot of that shit that they do. And it's just like, I appreciate it so much now that my dad took me to his rehearsals and shit. Like he just instilled a greatness in me, like a good, like a work ethic in me that helps me, get through all this shit. Like I'm like, it's really amazing how much that shit imprints on you as a child. I was doing that when I was really young. He was taking me to shit when I was like 3. I remember all of it going to his rehearsals. Now he's coming to my rehearsals. Now he's playing shows with me sometimes. Like it's hilarious how life comes full circle and shit, bro. It's so funny how you like become your parents in
it's
a
true.
variation of them, because I'm neither one of them, but I'm them,
You can't escape it, bro. Like I find myself laughing at things and I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly how my dad would behave right now. Exactly. Like I hate it, but it's in there. It's in there. It also reminds me too of like, there's this thing. It's similar to like how people get mad at your influences. People get mad so often about like nepotism, right? About how like people hate on, even though I don't like his records, I watch Jaden Smith and I expect him to come to fruition because like it's just practical, bro. If his dad is Will Smith, how did he not absorb that shit all his life? He has a leg up. It's unfair. It's plain unfair.
Of course.
That's life, bro.
But he's got talent too. Like even if like him and his daughter have talent, you feel me? Like, and it's like it's crazy the amount of talent they have. I don't know if they're necessarily writing their shit, but the talent they have to perform this shit that they may or may not be writing is an accomplishment in its own. It takes so much to get on stage and to own something and to do it well. Time after time again.
People don't appreciate that shit. They don't get it.
Oh. That's why I'm just like the whole ghostwriting shit. Like I don't really give a shit about it.
Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? Because
the thing is, no matter
that since fucking half of the Jackson 5 songs, half of the Michael Jackson songs that y'all know and love were written by somebody else.
But who chose them? Who chose which song was gonna go on the album?
Who's performing them? Who's putting their own flavor on that shit? They might have wrote it a certain way. And like, okay, I want you to sing like this. Maybe I'll sing it like this. It takes so much to get on stage and actually perform a song. It's kind of like you're in a chorus and they give you sheet music for you to read. And there are people who just read the thing, and there are people who read it, memorize it, and put their own flavor on it. You feel me? There's there's little deciding factors in like where you like who has it and who has it, or you have it or you wait.
And to me, even like, what I think about, like, they try to say that shit about Beyonce, and I don't give a shit if she writes it or not, because I don't care either. To me, Beyonce's great skill is her like, to me, her great skill is her curation. She chooses the choreographer. She chooses the song she's gonna do. She chooses who, you know what I mean? She's okay, I need this. This is the filmmaker who's gonna do Lemonade. This is blah blah.
She works hard. She works hard to perform for you, to entertain you. You know how hard it is, imagine if she's writing her song. You know how hard it is to write a song that's catchy and that everybody likes.
It's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible, bro. It's almost impossible.
And she does it a bunch of times. The thing, and here's like in that same note, like with Michael Jackson. Let's say he didn't write none of those songs, but he's the nigga who goes and writes on his bathroom mirror, 20 million. I'm gonna sell 20 million records. You know what I mean? He like you and who goes, we don't sleep until I know I can do that.
Exactly.
Like that's a war general, bro. It's
For
like,
real. You a tactician.
yeah, it's like who's writing the songs, bro? Who's making sure that we sell 20 million?
Exactly. You know?
You know what I
And
mean?
a lot of people think like making an album is a collaborative effort of so many different people. Like it's not always just like, oh, it's just a person who's rapping or singing and an engineer and a producer here and there, you know, like it's so much more shit that's in it, man. That like, oh man, there's
a great story that my favorite producer of all time is Teddy Riley.
Okay.
And there's a great story that Teddy Riley tells of working, because he was handpicked to basically executive produce Dangerous, which to me it's sacrilege, but I think it's the best Michael Jackson album.
It's definitely one of the best.
Shit. Yo, okay, that's my favorite one. And so he was handpicked by Quincy, and he said him and Michael were working already for a couple months, and Michael pulled him aside one day, and he was like, bro, you're not directing me when I record. You're just letting me record, and then because I'm Michael Jackson, you're not giving me a note saying I'm flat or hit it a different way or whatever. You're not producing me. And he's like, well, you're Michael. I'm trying not to get fired.
Exactly.
And Michael goes, come with me. And he goes to another room that he'd never been in before. And Michael takes him to another room he'd never been in before, and he walks in and he sees all the songs on a board, and he can see checks and stars, and he's crossed out the songs that he's not keeping, and his checks on the songs. And he said, all my songs are on there. When I walked in, I saw him. He's like, you're not going anywhere. Your job is not in danger. Let's make this album.
There's
direct me. Yeah, there's a reason you're here. Like that. That's leadership, bro. That's leadership, bro.
You other people for the talents that you may or may not have, and you utilize them.
Like for somebody to be like, oh, you didn't write those raps or whatever it is they want to say. Like, this is so petty what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, it's just like, so what, bro? Like, it's, to be honest, like, I understand the plight of people who write their own raps and they're just like, they feel like, oh, my shit is better, but I'm not getting it put on. I understand the plight of that, but like, there's a difference between like a lot of the people, niggas who I know, is just like, a lot of people can't even rap the same way they record their shit.
Wait, explain that again. Say it again.
A lot of people a lot of rappers who are on like in the circuit that we're in right now, a lot of them who like perform, they can't perform the way they rap it on the track. You feel me? Like, I've always been the type of person who's just like, if I can't perform this on stage the way I rap it in the studio, then I'm not gonna do it. I want to be able to be like, all right, like everybody likes this song for this particular verse and the way I do this shit. Like I might spit it really fast. Like, like there are people who just like chop up their shit. That's why I like to do songs in like one take. I don't like to like really punch in that much.
That's a common thing with rappers. Rappers do not like to punch in. It's a failure. It's a failure if you have to punch in.
It's like if I can't get through this verse, I'm not like I'm scratching it, bro.
That's like a thing that me and Della have to do that for each other, where we're just like, just punch in, bro.
Sometimes you just gotta punch in, and sometimes it just takes practice. Sometimes it just takes practice where you just gotta keep doing it because your voice is an instrument in its own. Like everything you're doing is an instrument. So like, I forgot where I was going with that.
But you're saying like, yeah, they can't perform it on stage the way they did on the record.
Exactly. So like, there's a certain like thing where it's just, I feel like if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be talking about how niggas aren't writing their own verses. You write, all right, yeah, you write your own verse, but can you spit your verse the way you want to spit your verse, the way you hear it in your head?
How is that performance? Can you do it? Can you do it once and then can you repeat it?
And can you repeat that process? It's sort of like being a stuntman. Can you keep falling and making it look good and staying in character?
That's another level. And it's like to have the emotion. That's like where I have the disconnect where I'm almost forced to push against the rapidy rap, the backpacker,
Yeah.
because the thing I realize like is like if it doesn't have the emotional. I mean, Jay-Z says it all the time, and I'm just now learn. Music is about emotion. You know what I mean? You know, he's always saying that, and I never understood, and now I understand. It's like, how do I take this feeling that I have and put that entire feeling into you?
Into exactly.
Like, which is like, so when people say Drake is whack, I'm like, bro, this nigga did a verse about how he wants his mom to date again, and I know what he feels like.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, you can't. You honestly like real recognize real, bro. Bro got skills. Like you may not like it that he like his upbringing or whatever the fuck, but homie got skills and he can do what he does and he does it well, and people recognize that. There's like nothing that'll benefit you from hating unless you're already put on and you trying to start a beef. That's the only benefit you get from hating on the motherfucker. You know, if you like, people just thought it was this isn't real hip hop. Like, yo, hip hop, yo, everything changes. There are different levels to this shit, bro. And just because you can't understand it doesn't mean that it's something that has to be feared or that means it's wrong in some way. You know, it's just a higher form of what we want to do. It's just like, all right, we're getting tired of like music always progresses. Like that's what same thing with any genre you go, fucking rock, you got like everything, anything, hip hop, anything, folk,
and to
anything.
me,
There's always progression. Folk now is basically just rock.
Yeah, for sure. Everything is blended. I mean, hip hop influences everything. To me, the thing is too, even for these purists, it's like, it's not like it's about whether you want to see it or not. It's not like you can't. It's hard to draw the line from Rakim to Drake. It's not like it's hard to draw the line from Nas to Drake. It's not like it's hard to draw the line from Slick Rick to Drake. It's not like it's hard to even draw the line. KRS himself is always talking about be yourself. Who are you? Talk about who you are and where you come from. That's what this nigga's doing.
Who said you had to draw a line? What's wrong with liking some shit that you've never experienced before? Just because there are a lot of people out here who secretly like Drake or whoever the fuck they think, or Uzi, whoever's out, or Yachty, whoever the fuck, but they're on a bandwagon where it's just like, my homie's not gonna like that I like him, so I'm not gonna say that I like him. You know what I mean? I don't want to look like the odd man out. And it's just like, that's whack because you can't be yourself. Like, it's okay. If you open yourself up to different shit, the possibilities are endless, man. You could do so much. Like, I used to be like that, low-key. Like, I used to be a hip-hop purist. When I just used to just rap.
Same.
Just, nah, like, I don't like what fucking... I don't like what Young Thug and what's that other motherfucker from Chicago?
Chance?
Sosa.
What's
that? No, Chief Keef. Chief Keef. Yeah, I didn't like. I was just like, because I didn't get it, and like my homie had to put me on. He was like, "Yo, it's just wait, like it's just," and I had to really think about it. Like it's just like, what's the point? Like hating on these motherfuckers isn't doing anything for me. You know, not doing anything for me. Everybody's just gonna think I'm a hater. Like not like. And like, just like, there's a difference between being a hater and having an opinion. You know, like I might not necessarily fuck with it fully, but I understand what you're doing. You know, I understand how it goes. I understand where your upbringing is, and I understand how music progresses, how music changes throughout years. Like every like 5 to 10 years is gonna be a different genre, subgenre within that main genre. Like there's hip hop. Hip hop is the whole shit, and then right under hip hop you got rap, and then right under rap you got trap or drill, whatever the fuck. You feel me? Like there's so many different subsects of different shit. Like, and you don't have to necessarily jump on the bandwagon and like it, but it's okay. Like I don't see anything wrong with just accepting that it's there. You know, you don't necessarily have to badmouth the person just because you don't know, because you don't understand their point of view or their the way they rap, or the, you know, like there's certain dudes out there who are just like, hey, my guy, like really, but there are other people out there who are doing it and it's just like, all right, it's just a different way of like Kodak Black. He's a different motherfucker. He's a weird guy. I don't listen to his music all the time, but he seems like the type of like rapper who's kind of just like misunderstood hood dude, bro. Like wants to be different, is different, and but still has that thugger around, like that gutter shit, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I understand, but like it's just really people just like there's no room for acceptance these days. It's either just hate or you just straight up love. There's no gray area.
Yeah, yeah, and it's unfortunate because there's so many people who are being themselves, who are bringing like a different energy, and yeah, they're not. It is what it is. They're accepted by who they're accepted by, and other people don't fuck with it. But to me, like I think constantly about like even the last year or so, like I learned from trap music, for example, so much. Like one thing in particular I could say specifically I learned from them is like I think the music that I was making for a long time, it wasn't connecting, and I didn't know why. I thought it was like I think I'm doing everything I was supposed to do, but what I wasn't understanding was that I was pushing so much. Like
Right.
like if the song was about suffering, I would show you that I was suffering and show you and pushing, and what it did was it made the audience go, okay, this nigga's suffering. Let me back up. You know what I mean? And the thing that trap showed me was like everybody was so laid back and so settled into there, and just like they just barely flick.
Yeah. Like I don't want to be like I don't like I'm putting energy, but I'm like I want to be simple with the shit. And there's so much room, there's so much beauty and simplicity, you know, that a lot of people do not get. Like there's nothing wrong with taking a break within your rap. Like you let the instrumental just ride for a little bit. There's nothing wrong with it.
That's
You
why
know?
I'm such a big fan. I mean, I'm gonna shout her out. Hopefully, she does a show soon. I'm such a huge fan. I think Annie, are you okay? I think she's so
Yeah.
underrated because she raps in like these
Annie's
little pockets, these little spurts. Back in the set,
You forget, you
and I'm gonna
forget all this shit, and it should just be in her shit.
exactly, and it come back.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I don't think I've ever really seen that before. It's so original and like unique, and like it's like and it would have been easy for me to hate and not learn that lesson. Like I literally think about her sometimes when I'm writing a rap, and I'm like, I'm just for 16 bars, and I'm like, why? I could have done some spaces in this and done some okay, let's rest and come. You know what I mean? And if I had been just hating, I wouldn't have learned that. You
exactly.
know? Oh man,
Yeah, some of these
chocolate.
things like there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with like learning from a younger generation, bro. They got answers.
yo, that's such wisdom. I think I'm learning that from hip hop. I'm learning that from watching Snoop and watching E40 and watching Jay and watching Pharrell, and watch them be brave and self-Swiss,
And passing the
embracing,
torch, bro.
passing the torch,
Giving it.
embracing. You know what I mean? The way them niggas, include even the game, all them niggas got up on stage and was like, "This is the new king of the West, Kendrick."
All right.
Like, what to me, it's like, yeah, they passed the torch to Kendrick, and that's a big move for him. But what strength it shows from them to just be like, I'm secure enough to go, this is the new king. I'm good. This is the new king. To me, that makes them look stronger.
Right.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
This has been a great conversation, Chocolate. This has been one of my favorite episodes. So thank you so much for doing it. And yeah, man. Yes. Go back either tonight or later in the comments. Plug or post whatever you want in the comments. Whatever your shit is that you got going on, please.
Yeah, man.
I'll get in there. But yeah, this has been Savage Brushstroke with Chocolate Brown, and we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon. All right. Peace out, brother. All the best.
All right, man.